I don't want to be one of those people that says at the end of every single year that this was the worst year in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, but I wasn't a huge fan of 2017. It certainly had its high points, but I think overall it had a ton of different low points, and I'm really excited for 2018. Hopefully Konami can do a better job. And in today's video, I want to do my wish list for 2018. And the important part here is that this wish list is pretty biased, and I think that's fine. I think we all have things that we want to see out of the card game that we might not think objectively improve the game from Konami's business perspective, but that we want to happen in the card game. So please, after watching this video, let me know what changes you want to see in 2018, but I'm going to tell you my wish list. So first of all, I think we really need another Battles of Legend set. Holy crap, that was like one of the most hype sets of the whole year, and it wasn't a main set, and it was just sort of this, it was basically a better version of Gold Series. It had the reprints, it had the new cards, and it had so many valuable reprints. They weren't just reprints for the sake of reprinting things, they were so valuable, and cards like Cyframe Lord Omega and Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, cards that really were expensive and keeping a lot of people from playing this game, suddenly became like $2, and I think it's awesome. But most importantly, from sort of a competitive standpoint, it reprinted things like Minerva, the Lightsworn. You didn't have to pay $1,000 for one card just to play Lightsworns. And what's cool about it is also the cards weren't printed in gold rare. Like, thank God. I know Konami loves gold rare, and I know Konami really loves the gold secret rare cards, but please stop printing them. And it was really cool to see a reprint set that was primarily focused on like making expensive cards accessible for a lot of players. It was awesome to see those cards not printed in ugly gold rare. Now, I'm not going to say gold rare is always ugly. The original gold rares actually were pretty cool looking, but recently, and especially in the very last gold rare set, the cards just look ugly. They look sad. They just don't look like cards, and I'm really happy that Konami made a fantastic reprint set with some new cards and also didn't print them in gold rarity. I think we need another one of those this summer. I think there's a ton of different cards that could go into that sort of set, because right now the only big reprints happening are in the Mega Tins, which only prints the last year's worth of cards, but there's a lot of older cards that are popular too that are really expensive, and I think for a lot of casual players or competitive players on a budget, it would be awesome to have a sort of version 2 of Battles of Legend. I also think we really should have an official online simulator. Now, a lot of people have their own ideas about this, but holy crap, like, Dueling Book sucks. It's way too slow. A lot of issues, because with Dueling Network, yeah, you had people cheating all the time, just like Dueling Book, but there was admins. You could call an admin to sort of make sure the person got like kicked from the game. And even though Dueling Book has that feature, because it's such a smaller community, a lot of times there aren't any judges on, and then you just have to quit the game and your rank goes down. So it's fine for playing against your friends. It's definitely the best interface out there, but in terms of the actual ranked play, it's really disappointing, because a lot of times if there's just not a judge online, your opponent can actively cheat if they're going to lose, and then you can't do anything about it. And then I really don't think Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro and Dev Pro and all those, well, a couple of them like aren't even updated, but also the problem is there's so many different versions of them. There's like 4 or 5 different versions of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and that's like way too many. There's no sense of community, and I think that an official online simulator would be great. I think the way that they could do it is that they could just have a monthly subscription fee, and you just have access to all the cards, and I think a lot of people, a lot of competitive players would pay that monthly fee. It'd sort of be like a lot of MMOs, where instead of buying an upfront game, you just pay to play every single month. If you don't want to play one month, you just cancel the fee. I think that'd be awesome. I think a lot of people would enjoy it, including myself, because I really don't like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Online right now. It's just really disappointing. Especially when you play a game like Hearthstone, the interface is beautiful, everything works all the time, most of the time. Compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just so much better. Speaking strictly in like the online experience. I also really hope, and this is maybe a crapshoot, I really hope there's no sort of Tier 0 format in 2018. Many of you might think that there's a Tier 0 format every single year. That is simply not the case. It's really only happens every couple years, but in 2017, we had 2 different sort of months where there was only one top deck. Obviously, you had the Zodiacs with Norden, They had that from the beginning, but it was pretty much right after Rapier got semi-limited that people started realizing that you have to play the Norden combo with Lunalights. So that was ridiculous. You basically couldn't win with anything else. And then also Spirals at YCS Dallas and the YCS that was after that the next weekend. For those 2 months, we had 2 different formats where only one deck was playable, basically. Otherwise, like a really teched out deck to beat that one deck. And that's not fun. I like the format we're in right now where there's like, yes, there's a best deck, but there's a lot of other playable decks. Very similar to the WCQ. Yes, Zodiacs were good, but you could play like True Draco Zodiacs. You just play True Draco Demise. You can play Dinosaurs. You can play all sorts of stuff, even though Zodiacs were like the best deck. Because there has to be a best deck, but I hate it when it's like 29 in the top 32 is one deck. That's just really boring. And I think that I'm not saying there should never be like a deck that takes up 50% of the top 32, because I think usually one deck will take up at least 50% of the top 32, but I want that other 50% to be like fun and thriving with innovation. Also, I really hope they print more extra deck monsters that sort of play around Link summoning. I know the direction they're going is giving us more and more cards that work with Link summoning, but I want cards that don't require it. Sort of the examples that I have for this are both Psyframe Lord Omega and Stardust Dragon. These cards have nothing to do with Link summoning. They don't put Link monsters on the board. They don't help you put monsters to make Link summons happen, but they put themselves in the graveyard or in the banish zone and then bring themselves back so that you don't have to have them in your extra monster zone. And I want to see more cards like that. I want to see extra deck monsters that when they activate their effect, they move themselves down one column. That'd be really cool. I think it's a cool way to sort of let people play extra deck monsters without forcing them to play Link monsters. I don't think that'll happen. I think Konami really just wants to push all these columns and stuff, but I really just want to see a card that takes itself out of the extra monster zone and lets it into the main monster zone so you don't have to make a Link monster. It doesn't have to be a synchro, but that's probably like the best thing to do it with, but possibly even an XYZ or a fusion monster would be really cool to see. I want to see better rarity bumps. I've made fun of Konami a couple times on this because, like, why was Unizombie not rarity bumped in, like, the Astro Pack that it was printed in? Why was Volcanic Scattershot not rarity bumped in the Astro Pack it was printed in? Why were, like, a couple really, really bad Paleozoics printed in the last OTS pack? I mean, really, I made a video about this, but the last OTS pack is, like, a joke. It's terrible on all accounts, except for the Ultimate Rares, which are really good. Shout out to Konami for making Brilliant Fusion an Ultimate Rare. But other than the Ultimate Rares, and other than literally one of the 10 super rares, the whole set's garbage. The commons are okay, but that's not like the real point of OTS packs. The real point is to rarity bump good cards, and they seem to not want to do that. Like, why? I will never, like, understand why those 2 really bad Paleozoics were reprinted as super rares when they could have picked, like, 3 others. They really could have picked the Dust Tornado one, the Foolish Burial one, or the Karmika one. Every single one of those would have been a better choice. They could have even done the one that people play as a 1 of, where it puts a banished card back. Any one of those 4 Paleozoics would have been better than the 2 that they picked. Yes, they had the Book of Moon in there, and that's cool. But the other 2, like, what were they thinking? How was that ever, like, a good idea? I can't even see, like, the board meeting where that happened. So hopefully they just really think about their rarity bumps and pick ones that actually make sense. And lastly, you all know what it's going to be. I want Fight for Patrick. Konami, please give me Fight for Patrick. What does a guy got to do to get a card that searches an Edge Imp and a Polymerization, you know? I don't want to be sitting around, waiting around for Fight for Patrick all the way through 2020. Like, they have to give us this card eventually. And, you know, when I used to make Fight for Patrick videos, people would comment and say, well, Doug, you're forgetting about the Lunalight players. They don't have Lunalight Chick. Guess what? The Lunalight players have that card now, and we don't have Fight for Patrick. It's like, oh my gosh. I feel like Fluffles had an opportunity to be good before Link Summoning came out, if they got Fight for Patrick, and that time's gone, and I get that. I'll never get that moment before Link summoning, but with Fight for Patrick. But come on, Konami, you've imported like 90% of the Dimension box into the TCG. Please just give us Fight for Patrick. That's all I want. It's not that hard. There's 10 import spots in every single set. Just put Fight for Patrick as one of them. Please make me happy. It's just ridiculous. That is like the #1 thing. And you know, I'm gonna come back to this video like in 2018 on December 31st and be like, okay, were my predictions correct? Did they give me these wish list items? And I swear to God, if Fight for Patrick isn't on this list, I'm going to be so mad because I just want to play with that card, and it's just frustrating. And I think that if I'm waiting like 2 years, 3 years for Fight for Patrick, it's just going to get disappointing because Fluffles every single month are becoming less good, and I think that they've sort of plateaued in terms of their power level. But if you just give us Fight for Patrick, they'll at least be a playable rogue deck, and that's kind of like the main goal. All I want is for Fluffles to be a playable rogue deck. Is that too much to ask? I do not think so. Anyway, that's going to wrap up my wish list. Sorry for getting a little emotional with that Fight for Patrick. But I will see you guys later. Let me know what you want out of Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2018. It can be biased. Maybe you want Stratos back. Maybe you want Construct back, even though they're both probably not good for the game. Perfectly acceptable. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys later. Bye.